Hope you're having a great day out there. We appreciate you spending part of it with us here on America's Retirement Headquarters, home of the Retirement Guys formula, and America's Medicare Associates with Nolan Baker, Scott Kirshner, and Chaz Price. And myself, my name is Chris Swan. 419-794-3030. That's the phone number, how you get in touch with the team at America's Retirement Headquarters, 419-794-3030, or online, arhq.com. On today's show, how often should you check your retirement account? If you're close to retirement and you lose your job, what should you do? And now that maybe baby boomers are moving into retirement, what advice should Gen Xers know? All this and more. But first, let me check in with the guys. Nolan, Scott, Chaz, glad to be with you as always. How are you?
Doing good, yeah. It was great. I'm just excited that maybe the warmer weather is going to be coming one of these days. I know we've been bouncing around the 40s and 50s, and every now and then they sneak in a 60 on us. I went up to the barn and was able to grab some stuff off my boat just to kind of get it ready for the season that's not too far away. But I do like the warmer weather, and I know golf's right around the corner too.
Yeah, we're in Northwest Ohio, right? We can't complain. If you don't like it, move.
Right.
Easier said than done, but that's the kind of weather we get around here. Things are going really, really well. I'm glad to be back in town and back on the radio.
Yeah, getting ready for some March Madness. Almost time for some Jigs dinner, and just having some fun.
It's the most wonderful time of the year, people will say about March Madness. And this brings up a good point when it comes to making the brackets and stuff. You could choose with your heart or you could choose with your head. And usually choosing with your head is going to be the better strategy. And it's the same sort of thing when it comes to your retirement plans. You don't want to let emotions dictate that. You want to have a tactical approach about it. And that is what the team at America's Retirement Headquarters, all of them are here for, to help you take the emotion out of it when it comes to bracket picking. Well, that's a whole other story. Let's go ahead and get into this week's show. Each month, the financial brainiacs at Barron's, they gather for a roundtable discussion about the markets and the economy. Last month, there was a lot of disagreement. One of them said, I see bubbles in champagne. Another one said, well, I see the need for Alka-Seltzer. We know you guys have to sift through all that and more importantly, the opinions of your clients. So how do you help find that sweet spot, that happy place when your office has their investment committee meeting and to satisfy your clients so they're taking that Goldilocks approach, the right amount of risk and still receiving the right amount of reward?
Well, I think that is a common topic that we do talk about at our investment committee meeting. We're talking about short-term, our outlook on the market, long-term, how to continue on helping people through that retirement journey to get them to the destination that they need. There's some ways to kind of be adaptive, and when, people are looking at where should I put my money in 2023, I think is a common question that people come in, whether they're getting together with us for a review or whether they're coming out to our economic events that we have. And, when we look at it, to me, I think there's a couple of areas that I would call some no-brainers, right? First of all, I'd say look at your lazy assets. Again, when you're looking at your lazy assets, you're looking at things that maybe aren't working as hard as they could be. And this is a great idea for younger investors as well as those that are well into their retirement years. What I've seen that I haven't seen in decades is things like money market accounts.
Sure.
And where money market accounts have gone today. So whether like I work and deal a lot with Charles Schwab, Charles Schwab money market account, as the date of this recording here in March is right at that 4.5% rate. For a money market account, it's just absolutely amazing. We've talked on the show for the past year about government I-bonds and where government I-bond rates are at. Government I-bonds in that 6.5% range. And of course, those are a minimum of a 1 year hold, and there's 3 months of interest that you give back if you don't keep them for 5 years, but you can also keep them for up to 30 years. So some of those areas I would consider to be no-brainers. I also have both my boys that work here, and my oldest is in college getting his degree in financial management. He's come in and he's talked to me a little bit about, man, Dad, look at my investment statement last year. The market really stinks. Mm-hmm. And, what I explained to him is I said, look, bud, you're 19 years old.
Right.
You're putting money into your 401k that you plan on using when you're maybe 60 years old down the road. I've said, don't worry so much about the market right now. Continue to focus on the long term, continue to maximize your contributions. Under the new Secure Act that got passed in December of 2022, there's also increased contribution limits. There's changes to how company 401ks can be allocated from things like, Roth contributions and, how that breakout is. So younger investors now, even with the crazy economy, this is the time to get actively involved with it. And then I guess for the three of us, for those people that are closer to retirement time, I think it becomes so much more crucial to get their A game going. We talk about this event that's coming up. It's called the Retirement Playbook, where we're giving you a playbook for those folks that are close to or in retirement time that want to know how to invest their money, for 2023. But to me, it's coming down to following our trademarked approach. Our trademark approach is called the independent income system. We walk through the current threats and opportunities we see out within the marketplace right now. If you haven't watched that video, I would encourage you to go on Google, and on Google, just type in independent income system, and you can check out that video on all the different threats and opportunities and areas where I think, are dangers and where there's some, potential great opportunities for 2023. But when people are asking you guys that question, what are you saying, Chaz?
Yeah, I would agree. I would say this stock market that we've been in the last 3 years has been an absolute roller coaster. I mean, 2021 was actually a pretty good year. 2022, obviously not so much. And then this year has been a yo-yo back and forth. And so how does this volatility affect our clients? Well, again, it depends on what stage of retirement that you're in. Because if you are in those accumulation or pre-retirement stages, I think volatility should really be a good friend of yours right now. The stock market, depending on what index you were looking at, in the last year was down, almost 20% in many cases, and that's despite some really good earnings growth. I mean, people continued to, well, I shouldn't say that. Earnings can come in two forms. They can increase the price, which I know they did that, but it appeared that people were still spending. And, you have some really attractive cyclical stocks out there, like some of the names we've talked about in the past, companies that, have strong balance sheets, that have little to no debt, down 30 to 40% last year. So there's a tremendous opportunity if you've got the time to kind of weather the storm and to avoid some of those major downturns. But as you're approaching retirement, for those folks who maybe are in or approaching retirement in the next few years, you really need to start considering shifting your portfolio from more of those growth-oriented names to more of an income sort of strategy where maybe we're looking at, not the same old bond mutual funds, which you're probably accustomed to, but looking at some really well-researched individual bonds or bond-like investments that can give you some stability in your returns. And it also appears that the 60-40 portfolio might, as a result, be back into play, because now we can get some decent returns on the stock market, on the bond component of your investment, whereas traditionally we weren't able to get anything, less than 1 or 2% on bond portfolio. So I know in previous segments we've talked about the 60-40 portfolio didn't do well in 2022, but we have to be driving the car looking forward, not backward.
Sure, to have youth on your side again. Now's the time, like you said, Nolan, invest. And, my daughter's being 22 years old. She got a statement in the mail, and she took a picture of it, sent it to me, and said, "Dad, what is this?" I said, "That's your investments." And she's new to this, right? And I said, just sit back, don't even look at it, just let it roll. You're, 22 years old, you got plenty of time to figure that out. But like you said, Chaz, when you're entering that retirement, it's time to change strategies a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, so bottom line, again, there's some no-brainers out there. Things like looking at your lazy assets, getting all of your dollars to work as hard for you, considering what you're getting paid on your cash equivalents, looking at some of these alternatives as we talk about money markets, I-bonds, and then also looking at today as an opportunity. I mean, it's not too many times in your lifetime that you get to see these opportunities of great companies, in our opinion, that are selling for deep discounts. That for longer-term investors can be just a phenomenal exit or entry point into what's happening within the market and making those right steps. So if you want to know more about what you should be doing and where to put your money, let us know. We're happy to help. That's exactly what we can guide you through and get you through this overall economy and market right now.
You can do so by scheduling a time to speak with the team directly. Go to arhq.com or give a call, 419-794-3030. Or if you want in a more informal educational setting, next workshop's coming up at BGSU at Levis Commons this coming week. Retirement Playbook is the name of the class. You can find out more information, including how to go ahead and reserve your seats at that website, arhq.com.